Hey guys, in this video we are going to go over the starter pack of presets that I give for free. And so it's a good set of presets to kind of get a feel for what my presets can do and how they can affect your images. And I've chosen some images that will work with these presets. Now, that's a good place to start, is that not every image will work with every preset. So you have to kind of go through and find the preset or know your presets so you can track the look you're after. Now, one thing you want to always do with presets is you want to make sure that on your images that you have your exposure and your white balance correct. And once those are correct, you can then move over to your presets and start to mess around. And so let's do that on this image. I'm going to lighten it up just a little bit. It's already pretty bright, but I'm just going to give it a little bit more because I want to get kind of this glow back here in the background. And then on my white balance, I'm just going to go to auto. And that's made it pretty warm. And so what I want for this image is I want to have less of the digital camera bright, vibrant green look and more of the film green, which is kind of a pastel, soft green. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Film 1 Clean preset. And if you look up at the navigator, you'll see that it's already adding that to my image, or that's how it will look when I go ahead and click on this preset. So let's select it. And it's done to my greens what I want it to, but it's kind of taken away too much of the warmth of the image. And so I want to warm this image up just a little bit. And I'll do that by clicking on the slider and dragging it towards the yellow area or the warm area. And so something right about there I think I like. And if I click on the before and the after, you can see how I've changed my image. The image on the left isn't bad or isn't wrong. It just wasn't the look I was after. I wanted kind of that softer film look, and that and my Film 1 Clean preset did that really quick for me. Okay, let's move on to my next image. And first off, it's crooked, so let's go ahead and fix that. We don't want to have a crooked image. And I'd want to crop in, oops, I want to constrain my aspect ratio. Let's go in just a little bit, probably about right like that. And the exposure looks fine on that one. The color, let's go ahead and put it on auto and see how it does. I'd like to have it a little bit warmer than that. I like my images warm if you can't tell. And on this one, I want to do more of a classic portrait feel, something that has that vibrance, but also a little bit of softness to it. And so I'm going to do my classic portrait 1 preset, and how that just kind of adds a little bit of softness in there, and just puts a little bit of a glow on the image, so you can see the before and the after. And that was, it took one click, and it was done. And let's move on to the next one. And this is an image of a bride and a groom leaving their reception. And so this has a vintage feel to it. And so on this image, I think I want to use my Vintage Muted preset. Now it's a little bit dark, so of course I want to lighten it up just a bit. Okay, and then I'm going to put it on auto to just get it a little bit warmer. I just like those skin tones to be nice and warm. And then let's go to the Vintage Muted. Now, when I click on that, it changes a lot, and it really makes it so the image is too dark. So sometimes when you click on presets or use presets, you have to come over and make adjustments. A preset is not going to give you a 100% perfect look every time, and you just have to make a few adjustments. And so if I just brighten that up, this image will kind of have a vintage retro look to it. And literally that took me, 30 seconds to do. All right, let's move to my next image of this family, and you can see that there's a lot of work that needs to be done on this one, but I'm always going to do my exposure first. The only thing I would ever do before exposure is crop. That's the only one that I would ever do. And I think I want this tight. I could even go square on this one. Let's see what a square would look like. I think I like that. Kind of an old Hasselblad kind of image look to it. So we have this square image here. I've got my brightness where I want. Let's go ahead and warm up this image. That's not good. So let's drag those babies to the warmth. Now, this is a fall image, as you can tell, and I really want it to have kind of a golden quality to it. And so I'm going to use my golden preset right here. And you can see that just kind of gives it a little bit of a golden cast, almost like sun is coming into my lens and just kind of softening the image up a bit. Now, I notice that I don't have a black point in this image, and you can tell by looking at your histogram, this space right here is telling me there is no black point, but also I can look at the image and know that it's pretty flat. And so I want to find a black point. And you can find a black point very easily by holding down the Option key or the Alt key on a PC, and then just dragging your slider down till something appears. So that is about where I want to be. I just want to have a hint of black. So about right there. Now that might be a little too much, so I'm going to drop my contrast just a touch, and then I'm going to go ahead and just brighten it up a bit. And so to get that golden tone, I used my golden preset, but I went from there to there very, very quickly. That's the beauty of presets, is that you can move very quickly in adjusting your images. So let's go to my next one, and this is of a bride climbing these stairs, and again, exposure. I'm going to brighten that image up, and I want to keep a little bit of detail in that dress, so I'm going to drag my highlights slider down and even bring my whites slider down just so I get that detail back in that dress. Again, let's warm it up just a little bit. Now on this one, I want to have a vintage look, kind of a soft, lilting look. If you look at this image, you see a lot of whites and a lot of warmth in this image, and so I want to accentuate that. And so I have a vintage soft preset that I've built just for this purpose. And what that preset does is just it accentuates the warmth and accentuates kind of the softness. This preset works great on high key images, just to give a feel of just warmth and softness. And so it took this image from here to here by simply brightening it up, changing my white balance, and then clicking on the vintage soft preset. All right, let's move to my last image. This is at a reception and a dancing picture, and I really like candid images that are black and white because they really focus your attention on the couple or the emotion that's happening rather than on the colors or what's going on around them. And especially with reception images, oftentimes there's not a lot of things in the background you want to draw attention to. You want to focus in on whatever you took the picture of. And so I'm not going to adjust the brightness because this one looks plenty bright. And I'm going to go to my black and white 3, which has kind of a vintagey black and white type look to it. And I'm just going to drop the brightness down just a bit. Now, one thing I can also do is I can get a gradiated filter, and I can go to the darken of my adjustment presets and just kind of get that ceiling to go away. Now, as I do that, I think I want to bring a little bit of brightness back. And so really quick, right there, I went from that image to that image with a click, a gradiated filter, and I don't know, a little bit of taste in images. But that's it. That is the starter pack. There's lots of other presets. A lot of them are just variations of the ones that we selected. In case you have an image that may not look good with the one I selected, it might look good with one of the others. And so there's 25 presets in here that will allow you to get started to just kind of tone your images and find a look that you're after.